Thank you. I didn't mean to dress up like you, but I got dressed and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, okay, I'll go with it.
Come on.
Please say your name and your outlet.
Yeah, I'm William Mullally, coming from Dubai Eye.
Uh-huh.
So,
How is it over in Dubai?
it's great. I mean, it's a wonderful spot to be because I get to go all over the world very easily. So it's a very global city.
Yeah,
So I get so many different perspectives. So I
Yeah.
love that about it.
good.
You
How
should
long
come.
have you been there?
8 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's getting to be more like home all the
Yeah.
time.
Great.
So let's jump in.
Sure.
So I mean, as early as a few years ago, you were saying, you weren't interested in doing another season, but never say never.
Mm-hmm.
So what really changed your mind?
Mark Frost called me and asked me to go to Musso and Frank restaurant and have lunch. And we started talking, and it just happened to be about 25 years later.
Which, as we know, has huge significance for the show.
Right.
So was that really the guiding principle with which you got reinterested in the material?
That was part of it, yeah. And the love of the world and the characters.
Which characters stuck with you most in the interim? Was it the same
All
all
of
year?
them. They're like family, and the world with them in it was something that, I would think about.
Did you have, when you started reapproaching the material, how was the creative process for you? Did you just start getting images?
We worked together. Sometimes Mark would come to my house, but pretty soon we started Skyping with one another. So Mark was living in Ojai and I'm living in LA, so we would Skype, and that worked out really well.
Did you...
Catching ideas, talking, and one thing leads to another, and then one day there it is.
he obviously wrote the novel, so he had a lot of this planned out. How much did it change as you started speaking about it? How much did it evolve? Did it go to places that you didn't expect it to when you initially mapped
It's
it
a
out?
continuing story. The Mark's book is Mark's book, and it really has nothing to do with what we did together.
So when you went back to filming this, did you have certain ideas of how you wanted to have it look? Did you want it to feel the same? Did you want the atmosphere to feel
We
the same?
wanted to follow the ideas that came.
And can you tell me about how you put together this cast? Were there a lot of people that...
In the ideas, certain people appear, and then you want to get them.
Did you have certain people that had always been asking to be a part of this? Because I know you had tons of people come to you for Fire Walk with Me.
You want to get the right person for the role, and that is what you do, what you try to do. So it's always the same: the right person for the role.
But you can't tell me anything about...
No.
Sure. So, looking back at your film career, do you find yourself thinking about all of your different characters? Do you...
Sure, from time to time. And I always say it's good once in a while to go back and look at earlier work, because it might give a kind of a something for the work you're doing now. So it's sometimes good to go back.
How do you view your early work differently? Are there any films that just have changed in your mind?
It's always the same. You do the best you can, and then one day you say it's done, and that's it.
Did you let this season go as... did you plan out exactly how long you wanted it to be at first, or did you just let it keep going?
No, it's like that. We didn't know anything at first, and then the ideas come, and all going through all the processes. One day you say, "Oh, we've got 18 parts."
How different was it behind the scenes for you? Because I know obviously, television has caught up in a lot of ways for the creative process to what you were trying to doing. They're a lot more accommodating to meeting someone's vision for what they want this to be. So how different was it for you to get that sort of the budget that you needed, the creative boost that you needed from everyone around you?
We got what we needed.
Sure. I mean, obviously there was a time when you thought about stepping away from it. So
Mhm.
was that
When maybe we wouldn't get what we needed.
Yeah. So could you see yourself doing more television in the future? I mean, a different sort of project?
Sure. The idea dictates everything. So you get an idea for building something in the wood shop. And if I fell in love with that, I would do that next. You know what I mean? So if something comes along that you fall in love with, then that's what you do.
In terms of feature films, since you made your last film, have you just kind of not caught any ideas for features? Or did you just push them away?
I had, a couple of times things that I thought I wanted to do, and for one reason or another, it didn't happen. So I think feature films are in trouble, and the art houses are dead. So cable television being, a place for a continuing story told with freedom is a beautiful thing.
And going back to, obviously you're not going to tell me about who you're working with this, but who was the hardest to be without in approaching the new season?
Nobody, a thing sort of wants to be the way it wants to be. And so if something doesn't happen the way you thought it should happen, you get new ideas.
And the music that you approached for this, did you approach it in very much the exact same way that you
Always
approached?
the same. Like an actor, you want to get the music that marries to the story. And so there's, as you know, billions of songs, billions of pieces of music. You get through experimentation, get the music that marries to the story.
Did you approach it in the same way that you do
Always
with
the
Angelo?
same.
Just sitting at the piano.
Well,
talking out
Angelo
the
and I,
words?
we now with modern technology, I could Skype with Angelo, and when he plays his keyboard in New Jersey, I hear it in my place exactly as if he was there, the same quality. Not through Skype, but through, I guess, the T1 lines or T3 lines, but whatever, exactly the same. And it's beautiful. We can talk, but we don't have to travel.
When was the last time that you were able to sit with him at the piano and do it the way that you used to?
It's been a while.
You don't feel the need
I would love to
go
do
back?
that. I would love to do it. It just didn't happen this time. But in a way, we virtually sit with each other.
So knowing that, as you were saying, that the art house is dying and television is the way.
Not dying, dead.
Dead. Do you view a lot of the work that's out there as well, or are you really just closed off to
No, I
working on your
don't
own
see
work?
anything.
Sure. All right, well, we have to wrap it up, so
Okay.
thank you so much.
It's good talking to you.
You as well.